Hey everyone, welcome. Why don't we start this video with a quick question? Do you guys like the Italian Vittoria tires? Do you use them for mountain biking, road, or gravel? I would love to hear in the comments. For us, we've almost always had a set of Vittoria tires in use. You see here Barzo front and MEZCAL rear. That would be for light trail setup. We also use Vittoria for pretty much all our road or gravel bikes. However, when it came to racing, we have not really used these older generation tires, mostly because of their 235 maximum width, which made for a somewhat small tire volume. Now, fast forward to 2024, and this is when Vittoria introduced their XC Race tires, finally coming in 2.4. I have with me today two of them. One is the new MEZCAL, the other one is the new PEYOTE. So let's take a closer look at these and see if they're gonna be race ready, at least for us. Obviously that was a joke because on the UCI circuit there is at least one team that uses these tires exclusively. Now in this video I am going to put these new tires from Vittoria next to my beloved Pirelli Scorpion XC RC because we've used them for quite a while and we absolutely love them. So let's see what these are about. Just like their Pirelli counterparts, these guys use minimalistic packaging for their tires, and you can see it right here, the 29er 2.4. This is the only size these tires are available in. 60 millimeters, that's supposed to be the width. And if you look what they recommend these tires for, this is the MEZCAL, and you see hard pack, fine, loose, and mixed conditions. You go down to the PEYOTE and you see just hard pack and fine, loose on top of that. Interestingly, just like with the Pirellis, from using 4 types of rubber, now they moved to just one combination of graphene and silica. And yes, you see graphene here on the PEYOTE, even though it doesn't show on the packaging, but that's what the new compound is about. And this is 60 TPI nylon based casing as opposed to the 120 TPI casing used on the Pirelli. However, they say that the nylon casing that they use right now provides a more supple and uniform flexing of the tire overall. Pretty much what I just mentioned is here on the back, where they're talking about the race formulation of the new compound, race casing. These are tubeless ready tires that are hookless compatible. And down here you can see that these are made in Thailand. There is no mention here of the expected weight of these tires, which is supposed to be 740 grams. The Pirellis mentioned that clearly here on the back. You can see the 700 grams mentioned for this casing, which is the Pro Wall casing. However, Pirelli also has the lighter casing, the light, and you'll see the weight in a second, 625 grams. And interestingly, I was planning to use that in the rear with the new Vittoria Airliner Light, the XC liner or insert. The MEZCAL comes up to 731 grams, and I got really excited when I saw that. The PEYOTE comes up to 737 grams. But you know what? This is one set of tires. I have 2 sets of tires. That cardboard insert with the strap is pretty much 25 grams. And check this out. So this is my second PEYOTE. This is supposed to be 740, right? 782 minus 25. So this is 760, only about 20 grams heavier. However, if I look at this second MEZCAL, again 740, look at this. 806 minus my 25, so this is 780 grams, so 40 grams overweight. This is only 20 grams overweight. These are pretty much the specs provided by Vittoria. So I guess depending on your luck, you might get a tire that's within spec or slightly overweight. So 60 TPI casing, single compound, and this race formulated rubber, it's supposed to give us anywhere between 3 and 6% faster rolling resistance, more grip, around 10%, and also about 10% more puncture resistance. Obviously that comes from the casing and the sidewall. And talking about the sidewall, you only get those graphical elements here, nothing else on the tire overall. You see a rotational arrow, which is very important for these tires. And here on the non-drive side, you also have minimum 20 PSI. We're probably gonna run it under that. Maximum 40 PSIs. And interestingly, they mentioned the rim recommended, which you can see faintly here, 30C. But what I'm interested in is the thickness and how it feels. Very much like the Scorpion Light. This one feels softer. This is supple. Very similar to the Light, to be honest. Definitely not the Pro Wall, which feels a bit more plasticky. So I'm wondering if running these tires without that Vittoria insert would be just really risky, especially on the rear of the bike. So big question for you guys, would you run these tires without an insert? Mind you, this is only supposed to be 55 grams, but still you end up with an 800 gram tire. Again, this is XC application, and just for context, the Trek factory UCI team that uses the Pirellis, they use the Pro Wall tires front and rear, and they also have an insert in the back, but that Pro Wall plus the insert is about 750 grams. This comes up to a bit over 800 grams. What would you run? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, I'm gonna install this on a 30mm ID rim so I can take some measurements. And here they are installed on my Bird and Noble wheels, and from left to right I have now the Pirelli, then the MEZCAL, and the PEYOTE. They're definitely all low profile tires designed for speed, and I mentioned the volume of the tires. They should be 60 millimeters or so for 2.4. Here's the MEZCAL at 60.5, Pirelli in comparison pretty much the same, and the PEYOTE using the same casing measures pretty much the same, a bit over 60 millimeters, and that's a good sign. If you look at the side knobs, they don't protrude out, they're pretty much in line with the casing, again very similar to what I had on the Pirellis. You have a round tire profile on both with intermediate knobs, and you can see that classic staggered L center of the MEZCAL and the arrow shape of the PEYOTE. Interestingly, if you look at those side knobs, the cornering knobs, they seem to be further apart on the PEYOTE and slightly better supported than the MEZCAL. What do you guys think? Doesn't it look like that from this picture? Otherwise, the center knobs are definitely taller on the MEZCAL, and you can see the height of the MEZCAL with the 20mm rim, and the same rim with the PEYOTE, giving us 2mm shallower tire. In comparison, the cornering knobs are right around 4mm for both tires. And interestingly, my good old Barzo 235, after stretching for a couple of years, comes up to 58-ish millimeters width, so very close to the 2.4 tires just launched. So slightly heavier than the Pirellis, the volume seems to be almost the same, and they are promising us great rolling resistance, or at least that's what some of the tests out there tell us. And that's one of the main reasons why I got these tires to try. Otherwise, I am very happy with the Scorpions, and I could buy a tire like this secondhand but brand new because people were afraid of the excessive rolling resistance. But check it out, UCI level, these tires are still winning races. So is this the ultimate replacement for my Pirelli? Is this gonna make it one of the best combos for cross country, light trail? What about marathon? If this came in 2.2, I think a lot of gravel riders would be interested, definitely in something like the PEYOTE. But MEZCAL has been around for a while. A lot of people love this. Do you guys have any experience with the MEZCAL? Let me know in the comments. For me, the reason why we run this with the Barzo front was always because this MEZCAL felt a bit drifty up front. I wouldn't run the PEYOTE up front. That would be really scary, similar to what? Thunderbird from Schwalbe. What about Max's Aspen? Do you guys run that up front? I would love to hear in the comments. Going back to this, what about riding these tires? My son is probably the best bike tester that I know, and he's gonna have a run with these very soon. So expect a follow-up video in which we tell you how these perform in real life, what kind of performance we should expect it. Do we feel the lesser rolling resistance? Mind you, all those tests are done way above 20 PSI. We're probably gonna run this front at probably 16 or 17, no more, and the PEYOTE at 18 PSI. So more to come on this, but I'm curious to hear from you. Did you guys try the new tires from Vittoria? What do you think about these new 2.4s? What about the new rubber compound? Let me know in the comments below. Looking forward to your feedback, looking forward to a discussion with you, and until next time, hope to see you folks on the trails. Cheers, guys. Cheers.